Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I take a look at this pretty cool looking new little, I guess you could say toy grade GPS drone by Tomzon. Now, you hear that buzzing in the background? I've got these cicadas at my parents' house and they get exceptionally loud this time of the year. So hopefully those don't drown me out while I'm talking here. Anyway, this is a new GPS by Tomzon and the model number on this guy is the D65. Now, inside of this box, you get the entire drone in this really nice carrying case here. So everything's packaged in here, has a nice handle on it to make it really nice and portable. So I want to make sure stuff doesn't fall out of here. I'm using my head cam, of course, guys, because I'm not able to do my table reviews right now, as I've explained in the past. So just let you guys get a quick look in here. Everything is packaged. Now you've got your charging cable and a USB cable in here. You got some prop guards, next to propellers here, and then you get two batteries. There's not a battery in the drone, so but on this one they sent two batteries with this. So let me go ahead and pull those out and I'll show you. So let me go ahead and set this down here and pull out the battery. These are both fully charged. I charged them last night. This is a 7.4 volts. It's a 2S LiPo. It's looks like it's 1300 milliamp. I believe this has an advertised flight time of around 20 minutes, though I doubt we get that much. The charge time on this, if the battery is fully drained, is about 2 hours on this to charge. And again, the charger is this, it blinks, it has a red light and then it flashes green and then it'll go solid whenever it's completely charged. Now they did give you a USB, well it has, first let me show you, it has this little connector. You have to slide it down and into these four prongs to charge the battery. And they did give you a USB cable, and the reason they do that is because this controller, which I'll show you in a minute, this controller here is rechargeable. So I'll show you that in just a second after we take a closer look at the drone. They also give you your instruction manual in here, so I'll go over that. And I also want to go over the app so you guys know that, because there's not a whole lot of information on the app. There's just two spots where they mention the app. So here is the drone, very lightweight. This is, meant to look sort of like a DJI Mavic foldable drone. There's not any wrong way to fold the arms out. You can fold out the bottom or the top first. They don't exactly snap into place either, so that's kind of bad. You could easily knock an arm out of place and you'd have to put it back, or it would fly wrong, weird. You got two white LEDs in the front, and then you've got these lights in the rear arms. I think they were like a yellowish green. We'll see that when we power it up. And then you got the camera here in the front. Now this camera has no stabilization, but it does have a motorized tilt, which you probably won't be able to hear over the cicadas. But if I get it closer, maybe you can. You can tilt it completely 90 degrees straight down or all the way level. It has a pretty decent looking lens on it. I've not flown it yet to see how the video looks, but it's rated at 1080p. So I expect it's probably going to have around 24 to 30 frames per second. And it takes up to 4K photos, which I imagine is upscaled like screenshots. We'll have to see. Now it does also have optical flow. Here it is on the bottom. This is of course going to help, well, it doesn't really help aid the GPS in these toys, but it uses it usually if the GPS is lost or if you never get a lock. Like if you want to fly this indoors, the optical flow would help it to hold position. But ideally you'd want it to help aid the GPS so you get even a better hold, but it doesn't really tend to do that. And then you've got an SD card slot, a micro SD card slot in the back, which is really great. So often on these you don't get anything more than a Wi-Fi FPV recording, which of course we know is very poor, drops frames. We shouldn't drop any frames recording directly to the SD card slot. So overall, it's pretty light. I know it comes in under 250 grams, so you don't have to worry about registering this guy. At least that's according to their specs. I would hope that that is with the battery inserted. The battery is awfully light, so just go ahead and insert a battery like this, push it in, press the power button. You get a battery meter, and you can see there's the white lights, and there's that yellowish green rear lights. And it's going to want us to calibrate it, so I'll go over that in just a minute. Let me go ahead and power this off. Let's go take a look at the controller. The controller is You know, it's really lightweight, but it feels pretty nice. And as I mentioned earlier, I really like that it has rechargeable built-in LiPo. So you just put these little hand grips down. You have a micro USB cable which they provide you to recharge this. The light will go green, and I think it goes off when it's fully charged, or maybe it goes red. Can't remember. Then here's your phone clip holder here. So you put your phone in there for your FPV. Then you've got an auto takeoff and landing, your power button. The middle button here is your compass calibration. And the far right is your return to home. It'll fly back and land where it took off. Of course, it's going to fly back on low voltage, or if you a signal loss, and land itself as well. Now, to do the compass calibration, they tell you if you want to do it manually, you press this button, but you put the left stick down to the right and then press in on it. And that'll enter it into compass calibration. Kind of odd, I've never seen that before. But the app, when you start it up every time, it will want you to do a level calibration. Level calibration or gyro calibration, both sticks down and to the right, I believe is what it said. But it'll ask you to do that in the app if you're flying with the app. And then it asks you to do the compass calibration. You can just press the button in the app to do both those calibrations, so you don't have to mess with these sticks. And then on the top here, you've got your video and photo buttons. So you don't have to long press or short press. Either one of those will do whatever you want to do. So it should start the SD card recording or take a photo. And this is your motorized tilt of the camera up and down. It's that little servo powered tilt. And then the app for this guy, like they don't give you a whole lot of information. Now, let me grab my phone. I'm just going to tell you what it is. Since this brightness is really low on my screen, but it is the Tomzon G app. I'll put a screenshot of it here on the screen for the D65. And again, that will go through the calibrations. Now, one thing I'll show you guys, whenever I do the actual flight review here in a minute, is they have, this is advertised as 5G, but when you turn it on, it only connects at 2.4. But inside the app, there's an option to go in and change it to 5G for your region. For myself, it would be United States 5G. Then you once you do that and it saves the setting in the app, then you go turn this drone off, turn it back on, reconnect it to your phone's Wi-Fi, and it will say 5G connected. It has a dual module in there, and it'll switch the Wi-Fi signal to the 5G, which is a higher bandwidth and a better, less interference on the 5G. So make sure you do switch this, assuming your phone supports 5G Wi-Fi. So that's really cool. The app has some image stabilization setting, which my understanding that doesn't work. And it's got an app update where you can take you to the Google Play Store and let you update the app in case it needs to be updated. And it's got like an audio and some other options. I don't know what it does. You know, it's sort of like the SEMA app. All right, guys, that should wrap up now the overview on the drone itself. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get it all bound up, and we'll take it out and do a test flight so you guys can see how the video looks and how it performs. So we'll be right back with that here shortly. All right, guys, so let's take the Tomzon D65 up now for its test flight. Now, before doing this flight, I did get a test flight in earlier over at my parents' house, and you know, it flies pretty darn good. There is some wobble in the camera, as you'd expect, but the tilt and all that works fine. Circle Me mode works good. The SD card slot I mentioned to you guys, I put a 32 gig SanDisk Extreme card in there, and when I go to record, it just simply says there's not sufficient storage. And I think the card is too big. Now, I formatted it FAT32 in my computer last night, so it's not sort of, you know, like an issue with formatting. I think it's just too big of a card, or maybe there's some compatibility issue. But unfortunately, all I've got is SanDisk Extreme 32, 64, and 128, so I don't have a card that will work in this drone here at my parents'. So there's a wasp flying up checking out the drone. Anyway, yeah, so I can't get that to work. So I'm going to do a screen recording of this, and that'll give you guys a good idea. Obviously, there's some drop frames. That's not going to be the case on the SD card, but it's going to look pretty much the same. The camera quality was not very good. It's already blown out, and it has trouble with, you know, highlights and shadows. Pretty much what you expect for a toy grade drone. So we'll go ahead and we'll fly it out here. You guys can see how this guy works, and we'll test out whatever features we can. Now, I want to show you guys before we take off. I'll set it down here on this relatively level surface. Now it gives me, as you guys can see on the screen, this no network initialization yet. It's like it wants to do some sort of a, I'm not sure exactly. It wants you to connect to the Wi-Fi, then come back to this and, you know, open your mobile data or Wi-Fi. And of course I have mobile data, but I've done this and I can't tell what it does. So you might do this the first time, but it always asks me this every time I open up the app, and I'm just gonna skip it. I'm not exactly sure what that's doing. And then if you go to the gear icon, you can see you got language. You need to switch that to English. It didn't do it for me. It was on Chinese. There's a record option and a captions. I'm not exactly sure what that is, because you can record from the app. I can't imagine you need to turn that on. But when you try to record from the app with the SD card, I guess it's too big. It just gives me that same error the controller gives me, that it can't record because there's not sufficient space on the card. Now you've also got stabilization. I guess it means image stabilization, but I turned that on, but it would be within the app, and I don't know. I mean, it's got a Chinese symbol and then off. I don't know what exactly that is. I mean, I know what image stabilization is, but this drone doesn't do that. And then you got band switching. This is where you would go in here and select from this box. See, I'm going to see if I can get out of it. You select the United States 5G if you're in the United States, and then you have to restart the craft and then reconnect the Wi-Fi, and you'll get a 5G option. By default, it's set to 2.4. So let's go back out of that. You just want to click on preparations, and now it wants to calibrate level. So that would be both sticks down and right if you want to do it manually, but it's ready to do it in the app. So just press calibrate, and it's sitting on a relatively level surface here. Let me back up, guys. You can see it down here. Now it's going to want to do the compass calibration. So let's press calibrate. I'm going to set down the controller. Just going to turn the drone. You turn it horizontal. See, the app will let you know when it's time to go vertical with it. Still says horizontal. Now it wants to go vertical. Doesn't say face up. I usually do, but you can also do it face down. And now it says all done. So that will work just fine. Now it comes up to the FPV screen. Submit. You can pinch and zoom in this, but it should be ready to go. Now again, we're already recording video. If I try to switch this, now I wonder if it would try to record now that there's no SD card in. Let's see. No, not enough storage to record. I've got a ton on my phone. So it's like you can't record even the Wi-Fi feed. You have to use the SD card, and with the SD card in, it says the same thing. So I don't know. I think it's just the SD card is too big, but maybe there's a glitch with this app. So let's go ahead and take it up and fly it now. Like you do need to unlock the props before you can do the auto takeoff. So both sticks, I believe, down and in. And now it's fired up. Then press the auto takeoff. I've got 18 satellites. That's really good. Makes you think this may be a dual US GLONASS GPS module. But yeah, it has a really slow yaw, which actually is good for filming. Now, one thing else I noticed, I didn't test in the test flight I did earlier. You press in on a stick, and that goes to your rates, 1 and 2. So let's see if the yaw increases. Yeah, there's. Well, I think so. Yeah, a little bit. This is the highest rate, so it should be. Yeah, that's pretty sporty. I didn't really test that out. I would not recommend that if you're trying to get decent video, because this guy's already fighting against, you know, jello wobble the way it is. So here it is. It's kind of backing up as it tries to go back to the spot that it left off. Well, you can see a lot of haze in the. I can almost smell it in the sky here today. I'm in Illinois. We've got smoke from the wildfires in California coming all the way here, and it's making a weird hazy look to the sky. Of course, nothing like what they're dealing with out there. It looks almost apocalyptic. Let's take it up a little higher here, and now we can tilt down the camera. Hey guys, and you know, if I try to go to photo mode here and press a photo, it'll say it again. Look, not enough storage to take photo. Now I'll look in my camera, and maybe if it actually glitched and worked, or just it's a glitch. It could be that it saved it, is what I'm getting at, and it just says it didn't. I'll let you guys know. But I'm just gonna have to use a screen recording. So yeah, you know, this drone flies pretty good. I'm a little disappointed with the video and that optional not working, along with the smart features on the follow me not working very good. So We've got a full battery. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to put it into that, let's see, highest rate. Take it up. I'm going to put the camera all the way up. We'll take it out towards the end of the field here, and then we'll do a return to home and see how accurate that is. You can see it's really tilting and wobbling, guys, because it's not stabilized camera. Let's see, I am out, I think it says 70, about 80 meters. The advertised range on this, I thought was 300 meters, but there's no way. 150 is usually about as far as I usually get with these drones. All right, we're getting close to the edge of the field there. I can still see it, but that's getting towards the end of the line of sight. And let's let off right there. And let's press that return to home button. It's going to turn around and fly back, and it should land. I did it earlier. It wasn't super accurate, but these toys without precision landing that rely on only GPS, they don't usually have super accurate return to homes. As long as it's close enough, I'm usually fine with it. But it gets to a point where if it's bad enough, then you know that it's not working well. Here it comes. I usually, to me on these toys, if they're within 8 feet or so, I consider that fine. Here it is overhead. Let's see it come down and land. After that, we'll take it out now and see if we can test these smart features. I don't have my helipad here, so that's one reason I didn't mark exactly where I took off. I really need the helipad for the FIMI X8 SE 2020 so I can test this precision landing. Well, that's going to be pretty good, just in terms of, I was on this white rock type area there. It lands in this grass and it gets confused and it can't tell it's on the ground. So it's there. Let's see if I can lock the props. There we go. You can also do stop within the app to kill the motor. All right, so that was pretty darn good. It was off a bit, but not much. It was probably only off a couple of feet. So I was pretty impressed with that. That's much better than return to home I had earlier, but I also have a better GPS lock, and that is going 18 satellites over maybe 13 or 14 might be enough to make that better, much better of a precision on the landing. Let's take it up again now. You can just do a manual takeoff if you want to, and just give it throttle. And let's see, I have to get it all the way up. Let's test those features. So I'm going to turn it around. Yeah, that's pretty slow. I don't think the yaw does increase really with the rates. Just the pitch so you get more speed. Let's back it up. It says you need to be beyond 5 meters. And you need to be up. Let me tilt the gimbal down a little. You need to be beyond 5 meters and above 3 meters in altitude. So let's go into the little icon here and do the bottom one that shows the following the phone. And then it says, make sure that you're above obstacles. Submit. And it usually pops up and says something. Maybe it's going to work this time. Let's see if it works. I think it is. Okay, I must have been where I was earlier. I was having trouble. I couldn't get it out as far. All right, this works. This is working. I thought that it didn't work, guys. I'm super happy to see that it does. It is definitely following me. So ignore that, what I said about the follow me not working. I tried it multiple times, and every time I tried it, it would just say I needed to be beyond 5 meters, and I thought I was. All right, yeah, follow me works. Perfect. Well, that's a big relief, because that was going to hold me back from recommending this drone, but now that this is working better, it's more likely that I might, as long as you're okay with the toy grade non-stabilized camera. Now to stop that, if you give it input to the stick, it doesn't stop it, so you have to actually hit that icon again. Now it's canceled it. Let's see now. Let's try the orbit mode, which is this one below it, and then you can press which direction you want it to go. We'll leave it on the first one and press this little launch button and then submit, and it should start circling here. It's going to fly back and it's going to start circling. And there it goes. It's going to circle that point where we marked it, so it's not circling me. But you can see there it is circling. And it's actually a pretty darn nice orbit. That's smooth. Press that again to cancel that. One thing I want to show you guys too in the app, I didn't mention it yet. In the little equalizer setting up here, you can turn off beginner mode and set the max height, and then I guess the max, it says max radius, which I assume it means max distance, at 350 meters and 100 meters in height. I did already turn off beginner's mode because I knew that would cause a problem and it would cap my distance way down. I'll show you guys the beginner mode. It caps you at 30 meters height and 30 distance. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that back off to go to the maximums of 100 and 350. So yeah, this is working, this works pretty good. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. Yeah, I like this. And now that we know that that works, I could definitely recommend this as long as you aren't expecting the world from the camera. You know, that's just one thing you have to keep in mind. But yeah, everything seems to work pretty good. I guess the only complaint I can say now is the fact that I can't get the SD card to work. And if you try maybe a 16 gig, maybe that'll work, or maybe just a different brand. But SanDisk are pretty darn good. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and land this, and I think we tested all the features that we need to test. Go ahead and just manually land it, and we'll end this video so it's not too terribly long. Yeah, and I even cut off the motors because it detected the ground, because these drones tend to get caught in the grass and then they don't know they're on the ground because of the grass kind of puffing it up off the ground. All right, guys, that wraps up the review of the Tomzon D65 brushed GPS drone with optical flow as well. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. There's a purchase link to this on Amazon. Be sure to, if there's any coupons that clip on the website, you clip those, because lots of times they do that. So be sure to do that. If there are any, be sure to subscribe. I appreciate all the subscribers. We're getting closer and closer to my goal of 10,000. Be sure to click that bell so you're notified when I do upload new videos. And as always, guys, have a wonderful day.
The power of the dark side.